Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, new and young, old and whatever. You're listening to Suge White. That's right, I said Suge White. Real talk, pro wrestling. Want to jump right in today. Talk about the big men of the Northwest. I'm from the Northwest, from Oregon, so therefore we're going to cover this area. One of the things we want to touch upon on this is not saying that this could happen on a huge scale, but one of the things that we want to do here is showcase people that other people might not have seen in the indies. Like I talked about how I barely watch any indies. And that was just I can't tell you why. I just wasn't one of the people that set out and got sit on the internet and just kind of troll for people. I think the first time anybody's ever asked me if I knew an independent wrestler named Reckless Youth, and I was like, no, never heard of him. And he told me, one of my friends told me, look at him on the internet, and I'm like, oh, the internet was fairly new, so that's not dating me there, but internet was fairly new, so I was like, okay, so checked him out, and pretty cool. But I don't know why it didn't keep me going any further, but just didn't have that interest. I think part of it had to do with me being on the independent scene. I just didn't want to subconsciously maybe copy people, because subconsciously, sometimes it happens. Moves. I wanted to kind of do my own thing, be different than everybody else. I mean, not being the biggest guy in the world, I needed to separate myself somehow. So, I mean, hell, I didn't even know ECW existed until '99, I think, and shit, I've been in the business a while, so that tells you something. I'm living underneath a rock, but that didn't go well. That's anyway. The three guys I want to talk about today, by far, I would put them up against anybody in the world, without even being seen. I don't have to see these other opponents. Three tough guys, three guys that are, in my opinion, in their own way, unique. And I'll explain it here. I'm gonna start it off with probably a shocker, and some people in the Northwest actually might not catch this one. If you don't, I suggest you pause me and YouTube him. That's funny. I think that's a thing, should be a T-shirt here on the show, is pause and YouTube him. But his name is Paul Isadora, and actually he's based out of NorCal. First time I ever saw Paul was SPW in Sacramento. And Paul sits at about 7 feet tall, if I'm not correct. You can correct me, Paul, if I'm wrong. Maybe 7'1", 7'2", something, but he a very large man. Of course, no fat on him. When you're usually you think 7'1", you think string beam, but that's not even close. The guy's got some thickness to him. No fat, but thickness. So solid frame. And I've worked him a couple times, and I know that the most surprising thing was how smooth he was for how big he was. And I don't know why it comes as a surprise, being a former basketball player for University of Nevada. You'd think his footwork would be down pat, and that's another thing. I firmly believe that if you have a basketball background going into professional wrestling, you're ahead of the game. It's all footwork and guarding somebody, timing, that kind of thing. So you're already ahead of the game there, and I believe that, except for Rodman and Malone, all that crap. I don't see. The only reason why I can bring that up is because there's always somebody. What about Rodman? What about? Come on, all right, please. So, Paul is So Paul actually worked for Frank Colson's Portland wrestling brand. Eventually he got there, and so he that's another. We got to spend time together there and work, and so it was. It's always been a pleasure to be in the ring with the guy. If you're not booking him now, I don't understand with what he can do and how he can do his physical presence. I don't understand, like somebody like Ray Khali going to be up there at the show, and then this guy's just sitting at home. I'm not sitting at home, but you know what I'm saying, waiting for that phone call. So people wake up. So, but yeah, Paul's definitely one to check out. Unfortunately, don't have too many stories about Paul. The fact that he's in California and Reno, and I've never, it's not a regular basis kind of thing, but he comes to mind just sheer size of him. So, like I said, if you don't know who he is, look it up, take a look. Second person I want to talk about, and this is by no means like an order of where they stand, because even my opinions can be way different than other people's opinions. And probably the next one will probably shock people only for the fact that I think they're thinking about me saying the best, like, worker or just all around, just can throw you, have a match with anybody. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. For me, it's in the ring, and passion has a lot to do with it. And Thunder's the second one, and the reason for that being is, what people don't realize about Thunder is how good of an athlete he really truly is, because he's played this mechanical badass for so long that they don't realize when it comes down to it, he actually can move. Now he's got two gears. One's definitely the Barney Rubble feet, and you probably knew I was gonna say that, didn't you, Chris? But yeah, it's like Barney Rubble when he tries to start the car. I was gonna just lift it up and with his feet. When his feet start moving, chopping like a lineman, that's when I fucking bail. Seriously, because carnage is about ready to happen. But then on the other sense, you got a guy who can get up to the top rope and do a 450 and maneuver his body like that, and then do a moonsault off a stage. I had to catch that guy. I mean, hell, I was doing a running shooting star press just to keep up with him. So that tells you something. And at the time, I got to work with him for 2 years. I believe worked with him in the ring for 2 years, program. He was about, I don't know, he was 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". I know he's taller than 6'2", but 6'3", 6'4". I believe he was 290 at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is PMPW. He gave my brother Bubba and I our first break here in Portland. We had wrestled in Portland before, but we left and went to Memphis and Mississippi and all those other places. And when we came back, he's the one that hired us, and he's heavily involved in PMPW and getting sponsorship, and he's part owner. So one of the things that we were told though before we left and came in was, and I don't remember who said this, but they were like, better be careful with Thunder. He's temperamental. He can get mad like that. You don't even know why. And so we had this grand idea of this big guy of having to walk on eggshells when we first got there. And at the time, I was like, well, I don't have to walk on eggshells because I'm not gonna say anything stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I say fucking things stupid all the time, but when I walk into a brand new locker room, that's not the time. And maybe we will touch on, for some of you young guys, on locker room etiquette and how to have proper respect, because some of that's out the window too. So back to the story. So I don't think I've ever seen him the first show at all. I don't think he might not even been there. The second show, I remember seeing him here and there, but didn't watch his match. Kind of got through ours and kind of just like stayed out of the way a little bit in the locker room. And at the time, I think he was big legging and he wasn't in that locker room. So third time I saw him, we were in the hallway and Bubba and I were walking in, and I hear him go, "Hey, you too." So I kind of like stops and look at Bubba like, "What did you do?" And he's like, "Nothing." So finally walked back his way, and he had this big smile on his face. And at the time, we were on cable access television, and he's like, I was watching the show the other night, and you two are hilarious. You guys crack me up. Your facial expressions alone are just hilarious. Which then that parlayed us into a 2-year relationship with him and CC Poison in the main event, so, which was some fond memories. And believe it or not, that went for literally about 2 years, and the blow off was at Astoria High School. It was packed, and if I can tell you right now, we could have had more mileage out of it. It was that hot still. I mean, the place was everything we did from top to bottom. So that tells you something. Part of his ability to, he let us come up with stuff like, I mean, we made fun of him. We bought wigs and dressed just like them, and Barry DX style, just chopped them apart, and he loved it, and had a lose-leave town match, and here comes El Lightning and Chi Poison, just stuff that make you laugh, and his willingness to do stuff like that, and his love for the business. And I mean, I'm not trying to get too soft here, but I mean, he's a great man. He's a great father, and he gets a lot of flack, I think, for how rough he brings it sometimes. But once again, it's partly because we have a training facility on every other corner, and we're creating some pussies. So it'd be tough to be in the wrestling business. So you can't handle it, get the fuck out. Okay, and that's you can't handle it, and so you have people. Anytime I hear somebody say, "Oh, I don't want to wrestle him," get the fuck out. So that's partly our fault, and that will definitely be a topic. So the next person, I'm about ready to run out of time here, so I gotta do part 2 because there's no way I can give this guy 5 seconds. All right, welcome back. Sugar White here for Real Talk Pro Wrestling. This is part two of Northwest Big Men. Touched on Paul Isadora a little bit. Once again, don't know who he is. Google him. Thunder. And Thunder, rightfully so, has been a staple in Oregon for 15 years or so. So he's definitely one of those that gets a nod talking about it. And I spent a lot of time in the ring with him, so that's kind of my thing. I got to tell stories about him, but love to hear from you guys on your guys' picks and or whatnot, and we can always have another part 3, 5, 6, 10. Part 10 doesn't matter. That's what we're here for. So the next person, I just couldn't justify giving him 5 seconds or you know what I mean, a minute. So I just can't. This was a hard one because I had another guy in mind as well that I've spent some time wrestling that's just equally as talented. But this was just different. I mean, the time we spent in the ring together, the time we spent outside the ring together, just way different. He's a little bit of both. And the first two people, like Paul Isadora, no, he's not 7 foot, but he can move, and for a frame that he has, he can move. And then he can hard hit at the same time, but actually, to tell you the truth, I mean, also one of the guys that can make. Just make anything look good, it seems like, and make anything exciting. So that's Jason Sullivan. Sully's a big man. Sully probably sits about 6'2", and I don't know how much he weighs, but he's a big man. I had the privilege of having every kind of fucking match you could possibly think of with this guy. I mean, from anywhere from a Texas bull rope to chain match to war games to fans bring their own freaking weapons, for God's sakes. I mean, the list goes on. How do we not die? But I know the chain match was one that sticks out in my mind, and I believe, if you correct me, Sully, if you're listening to this, I believe it was. I know it was Eugene, and I know it was for that fallen officer, the memorial service, because it was a packed house, and boy, that was one of them. I mean, you didn't have to. You have to be an idiot not to know, even wrestling during it, that it was hot. Because, I mean, it just that noise was just loud the whole freaking time, and so it should be, because you got two large individuals beating the tar of each other with a logger's chain. And I'll never forget, we go to put the collars on, and mine is not fitting. It's not. I mean, literally, it took like 3 times where I had to suck my fat neck in to finally get that thing to clasp. And oh my goodness, let's talk about that. We got now we got another 15 minutes like that, and then this large individual is going to wrap that chair and beat the tar out of me. Fun times, heck yeah. That was some of my fondest memories, and he's such, his mind is I think sometimes I want to say his mind is more advanced than his body. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy can move, but the guy's such a quick thinker that I think he thinks, and he's got like 3 ideas before that first one, his body can start moving for the first one. But did a lot of ring work in time with him, and then spent a lot of time with him outside the ring. Just kind of listening to him, picking his brain, asking him questions, stuff like that. Just, but the guy that I also had in mind, was close to Sullivan, was Skag Rollins. I haven't been with Skag, in a number of years. He moved over to the East Coast, and now he's back, which I'm very, very happy. I really wish I could see him soon. I'm gonna have to catch a show, take a day off of work just to go see him. We were in tag teams together. He was the first person I wrestled for Frank Culberson when he was a Pacific Northwest Heavyweight Champion. And the reason why he makes this list, if I could just add in another one, is because of how agile he is for his size. And I mean, when a guy his size, I mean, he's about my height, maybe a little bit taller. At the time, he was probably double my size. And to catch a spinning heel kick from a man that big, right here, okay, that's impressive. I mean, no 2 ways about it. So, there was stuff in those matches that it never ceased to amaze me. And then once we tagged together, the Three Birds. That's right. We are Sacramento's trios champion. My brother Skag Rollins and myself for the last, I think it's 12 years, maybe 13. No one wants to challenge us. I don't blame you. I mean, look at us. I don't blame you. So we took those back to Oregon, and we still have them. So if anybody wants to make a call, I'll come out of retirement for that one. With Bubba and Skag, I just sit back and watch him destroy. But anyways, watching him in the ring and move as a partner as opposed to working against him is, I got best of both worlds. So he definitely deserves to be up there. So many people are going to go, what do you mean big man did it? Well, let's talk about the definition of big man. Mine's different than yours. I guarantee it. Okay. I'm not necessarily, big man doesn't necessarily mean height. Big man doesn't necessarily mean weight. Okay. Another argument is it's kind of one of the reasons why Dr. Cleaver didn't make the list here. He's one of the top guys up there that's a big man, and he's a big man because he's 6'4" or 6'3". I mean, he's a big dude. You get in there with him, you realize when you're locking up and you're looking up at him, he's a big dude. He might not have 250, 60 pounds on him. Okay, but he's solid. So it's just I had to make a decision, and for me it was being a heavy set guy that's shorter. When you do something athletic and move and you have to move your body like that, it takes a lot, and it hurts, and it takes a lot to recover. Trust me firsthand. And you do it over and over again because why? Well, you can't stop entertaining. You love to do what you do, and it's just, at the end of the day, you want to give people that pop money to pop money. An idiot. Concussion. Who spent money? There you go. Who spent money? Well, hard-earned money to come and watch you wrestle. You have an obligation, and every wrestler feels that. So, having those guys come out and work the way they do, it's amazing. So, one of the things to get ready for the next segment is we are going to do kind of where are they now, big man for the Northwest, and anywhere from John Nord. I can only imagine. I probably need to get Grappler in here for this. Maybe we'll go take this down to the wrestling school and film it because he'll be able to tell me. But like John Nord and who was that guy who's a big juicer? That guy's pretty big. Carl Stiles is a big man. He might have been tall, but good lord, that guy could barely fit through a door. One of the Francises. Berserker, the guy who played Berserker. There's a list of pretty big sized guys that came through here, and normally they were in Grappler's wrecking crew, but Grappler wasn't stupid. But where are they now? Which probably parlay into where are they now? Period. Best of yesteryear. I'd really like to get that out and open. I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys would listen to. Want to listen to. I've had a very big interest in where's Billy Jack Haynes, and so I'm sure we can find that out easily. Some of you guys have realized that some people have passed away and that you guys don't know that have passed away, and that's a shame. So don't be afraid to touch. Say Stan Stasiak. That's who you're thinking about for big men. And you might pass away, but we'll let everybody know that and touch on that and so forth and so on. Give me feedback, folks. My cousin's going to be on here. He's a wrestler pro wrestler in Memphis. So Chris Austin, he's going to be doing this from time to time. I'm going to be visiting him, and we're going to do a few of these and kind of get the point of view of where from the East Coast, southern area to the Pacific Northwest. And that's why I want to sit down and have some of these guys, like my students, come in and do one of these, and just so that people are aware of who they are, maybe a little bit beforehand before they make it big, if they do. But I'm not saying it's going to get you worldwide fame, but it's just something to get your face out there to other promotions that are around the United States. And God knows if you can get a booking somewhere else because you sat here and talked to me, and that's makes my heart warm because I'm giving back and help you out. So that's what we're here for. All right, guys. Well, I just want to thank you for taking your time to listen to a washed-up jabroni like myself, Suge White. Till next time, I'm going home.